better than to be in Carolina in the morning.
High hopes, he's got high apple pie in the sky. Hope nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with me live on this Monday morning from the showroom floor at Ventura TV. It is on the air, off the presses, and today a special guest, Colin Dougherty, the general manager at KNXT Channel 49 right here in the city of Fresno. You're going to recognize the name and the face, a very familiar personality here in the city of Fresno. Your phone calls are important, 265-4331. We're back with your phone calls and Colin Dougherty in just a moment. And welcome back. Hope you had a great weekend. Of course, a great weekend in football. It's going to be the 49ers against the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. All I have to say is yes.
Go 49ers.
Yes, go 49ers, no doubt about it. All right, it's going to be the two brothers, Jim Harbaugh against his brother John, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. And what a great game the 49ers played. It was a tight game. And of course, we're going head-to-head today against President Obama in the inauguration. He's already been sworn in and ceremonies going on. If you're watching this on the replay at 7:30, everything has already taken place. But today, a special guest on the air, off the presses. I can't wait to get to this. Colin Dougherty. Do you recall the name? Do you recognize the face? Do you remember something called the Dougherty Report on Channel 47? You might if you take a look and a listen to this.
KJEO Public Affairs Director, Colin Dougherty.
Good evening. Tonight we're going to take a look inside a unique new program developed in Fresno County for repeating criminal offenders. A program called the Model Treatment Unit for Criminal Offenders was developed by Dr. George Solomon of the Fresno County Health Department, Director of Medical Education and Chief of Psychiatry at Valley Medical Center. Dr. Solomon uses modern mental health concepts to aid the individual through the self-help provided by the Sheriff's Department, the Probation, and Health Departments in the county.
Wow. No offense, but that was a long time ago. Yes. He actually had color in his hair back then. Anyway, that was Colin Dougherty, news anchor, reporter, news director at Channel 47 way back when. Remember the Dougherty Report? He also anchored AM Fresno Live. Then in 1977, get this, he started Channel 18, what we know now as public broadcasting. He was there for 27 years. Yes, he started Channel 18. Then he retired, then he came out of retirement, went to Comcast Cable, went to the Chamber of Commerce, and now live in our studio is Colin Dougherty. Look at that handsome guy.
I know it. Isn't
you know,
terrible?
oh,
it's winter blonde, I call it.
That's right. Hey, mine's getting gray too. Anyway, Colin Dougherty, the general manager at KNXT Channel 49. He's a legend here in Fresno. And your phone calls are encouraged, 265-4331. I can't wait to get into this. You're going to be surprised at some of the stuff that Colin actually covered while at Channel 47. We'll get to that, 265-4331. And we're back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Hey, the legend lives on. He's not retired. He's at Channel 49, the general manager. Hey, pleasure to see you, Colin.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
Monday.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes, and again, I go 49ers. I mean,
Oh, right. Give me 5 on that.
Yes, I've been sweating them for, I don't know, 40 years, I think, something like that. And it's good to see them back in the ball game. 5 previous ones. They've won 5. So they've got to do this.
Colin, they've never lost a Super Bowl that they've been in.
I know it.
Never.
Well,
here's wood right here. Boy, it's hardwood too, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so, hey, let me ask you about the inauguration real quick before we get into the Colin Dougherty report there. You know, there are a lot of people think that, okay, he was sworn in today, or actually yesterday officially. Right. But, you know, sworn to uphold the Constitution, yet some people think, hey, by what you did last week, you're tearing down the Constitution. I'm talking about gun control.
Certainly.
What do you think about what's going on?
Well, you know, the job is immense. I can't even begin to fathom what a person, regardless of who is sitting in that seat, has to go through. And he does it on a day-to-day basis, seeing as he is elected to do. Who makes the right decisions all the time? I again pray for the man, whoever that person is and will be in the future. It's something that you make decisions based on what you know, what the law is, and so on and so forth. Right. And I certainly, all of us disagree with issues that come up with leaders in the community, from our mayor to our governor to our supervisors, whatever it may be. But you've got to oversee what they are looking at and what they have to deal with, not just on your feelings about it, but
it's overall.
I mean, just right here in Fresno County, you've got 2 million people or something, or whatever the figure is.
And so much in unemployment, too.
That's right. And all the things that come into play. Garbage pickup, we talked about again.
Oh, the privatization.
Privatization of that.
The war between the unions and the city now.
I know it. What is best? Well, you hope that the people you elect to put in those places do the best for you. Yeah. And again, if you think you can do better, then run for office.
You know, someone told me that once.
That's right. Otherwise, it's like if you don't vote, then don't gripe. You know, so I feel the same way. If you think you can do better, then run for office.
You know, you've been around here a long time. Got to find someone. Look hard to find someone who's been around here longer than you. What do you think about Chief Jerry Dyer? What do you think about Sheriff Margaret Mims? On the local level, they've got 2 tough jobs.
Yeah, I know both of them well, and I think, again, they are doing a tremendous job with the issues that come up. I mean, just taking care of the jail itself. Can you imagine the hundreds and thousands of people that go through that jail, and you've got to, again, feed them, clothe them, et cetera, et cetera. And the monies that are there, if there's no monies there, what are you going to do?
Well, they're dealing with crime issues. They're dealing with budget issues. Yeah. They're dealing with unions. One has to deal with the council. The other has got to deal with the board of supervisors. Right. Not an easy job.
It is not a job that I would want to have. And if anybody has complaints against them, then let them go down and be chief for a day or sheriff for a day, and then tell us all about it.
Let's get to the Dougherty report. What was that all about? When was that started?
Well, it was started in 1969, right about there. And the idea was to, again, look at the people, the places, the things in the area, all the different counties and so forth. And so we'd go out and we'd shoot whatever is kind of happening.
Was it an issue-based show?
Not particularly. It was a featured program. It could have been a person one day. It could have been an issue the next, and so forth. It was just a montage of different ideas and things. It was sort of like pluck it out of the news today and follow through with it a little bit more.
2 things caught my eye when I looked at some DVDs. One, you did a special report on segregation in Fresno and abortion. Let's take a look at the one and listen to the segregation portion of this DVD. Go ahead.
Fresno is a segregated city. It's divided into 2 geographic areas, Fresno and West Fresno. The second indication not only shows a geographic difference, but a social and ethnic difference.
Nearly 16,000 black residents live in the city of Fresno, and 83% of them live in West Fresno. West Fresno has the highest crime rate, the highest unemployment rate. More people in West Fresno are aided by welfare or some type of social assistance. Family sizes are larger. It has the lowest education level and the lowest per capita income level of any other area of the city.
Well, this looks like it was shot either in the late 60s or early 70s.
Yes, it was.
And
Yeah.
it was heavily segregated at
Right,
that time.
right.
Are we still segregated in 2013?
Well, I think so. I think the demographics have changed a little bit, but the southwest Fresno, southeast Fresno, etc., is still very much a Hispanic community, a black community, and
That hasn't changed, huh?
No, it really hasn't. If you took the numbers and really took a look at it, you would see that that hasn't really changed much.
Wow. Do you know why?
Well, poverty is one thing. I think if you took the city of Fresno and you divided it into 4 areas, you would find, the upper class, which is the north end of town, the rich area, and the middle is starts around Shields. I'm not sure when you start breaking the community, but economics are the issue, really, where that
boils down
happens
to
be.
everything, right?
Yes,
Pretty much.
yes, it does.
Yeah.
And those things are hard to change.
Was that a difficult series to focus on, segregation, because of the tension back then?
It wasn't difficult to focus on. It was a reality, and what we were trying to do with that particular program is take a look at, and we found a family who again lived here. Jesse Green was his name, and he had a family and lived in West Fresno. Had to work outside of town. And
worked in Kingsburg, I believe, didn't he?
He worked out at
Kerman.
out at Kerman,
Kerman,
and again looking at where he had to find work,
Mm-hmm.
and it was trying to focus on a real issue in our community at that particular time.
You also focused on the issue of abortion. It was Roe versus Wade way back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it all began. Of course, it went into law. Let's take a look at just a quick clip of what you did on the Dougherty Report regarding abortion.
Abortion. It used to be a word that was only whispered. Now it's shouted. A woman in 1973 doesn't just want an abortion, she can demand it.
You know, a hot topic back then, and it hasn't simmered down now.
No.
It's still as hot as ever. You're either on one side or the other.
Right.
The two sides will never agree.
Right. Yeah, it was right after that decision came down, and we took a hard look at it. We showed aborted fetuses that had never been shown on television before. And
What was the reaction from the public at that time?
tell you the truth, I had immense reaction, and I had a great balance of criticism, and again, thanks for doing it.
You must have done a great job then.
So we were very happy with it in the sense that we got the issue out, and we
Yeah.
talked to a lot of people in the community at the time. We talked to women who had abortions, women who didn't, doctors, lawyers, clergy, etc. So
Yeah.
we felt we balanced it very well, and facing the issue, and there was no answer, I don't think, to that issue.
Colin, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation and look more at the Dougherty Report and abortion. Actually, look at a doctor that actually performed one on the Dougherty Report. 265-4331. If you're watching, call in. See you back here in just a moment.
You tell me who I am.
They called you West.
Jim West.
Mr. West.
West!
Well, my name is James West.
A truly great man.
Brilliant.
Secret Service agent,
What's next? Come on, I'm waiting.
man of action. He's James West
Where's Jim West?
on the Wild Wild West. Weekdays at 4, 3 Central on MeTV.
And abortion is a hot topic in this day and age, 2013, several years after Roe versus Wade passed into law. It still is the law of the land. And Colin, I want to take you back, very graphic images, of course, describing what abortion is and how it's done on the Dougherty Report. Let's take a look here.
The first method, dilatation and curettage, commonly called a D&C, is performed when the surgeon inserts a curette, a loop-shaped knife, into the uterus and scrapes the fetus out of the womb. The second is the saline or salt poisoning method. This is done with a large needle inserted to the abdominal wall of the mother and into the baby's amniotic sac. A concentrated salt solution is then injected into the amniotic fluid. The fetus then swallows the salt solution and dies generally within an hour. When successful, the mother goes into labor about 1 day later and delivers a dead fetus. The third method is a hysterotomy. This is like a cesarean section. The mother's abdomen is surgically opened. The fetus is then lifted out and discarded. This method is generally used late in pregnancy. The fourth and most common form of an abortion procedure is the suction method. This is where a plastic tube is inserted into the uterus and the fetus is sucked into a bottle. Basically,
What do you think
a
about
very
when you
powerful
look at
vacuum
that
cleaner.
in this day and age? You look back on those videos.
Well, it was dramatic at that time. I think it still is when you really look at the procedures and so forth. And of course, your feelings on the issue of abortion, you know, bubble to the top on what's.
Have your feelings changed on it, or are you kind of still?
No.
You feel the same as you did
I
in
feel the
'73.
same as I did then. It had to be addressed, though. It was such a major topic issue in everybody's mind. And it again still is. I mean, everything we've talked about, if you rerun that spot today, probably the techniques that we just witnessed might have changed.
A little bit,
The sophistication of medicine would have changed some of that. But the overall issue is still the same. You know, who wants an abortion, who is it the right to do so, and so on and so forth. And
Now, let me warn our viewers, the next piece of video that we're going to show is very graphic in nature. It's actually a doctor performing an abortion. Now, before I get into that, Colin, I want to ask you a question. Did you debate the issue as to whether or not you should show this or how you should go about it? This came about, of course, on the Dougherty report. Were there any discussions? Should we air this or not?
Yes, we had some discussions. Obviously, the general manager of the station
Had a big question for
and
you,
the
huh?
program director, etc., all wanted to discuss this. And again, viewing it after we had recorded it, they all
What did they
agreed.
say? What did they
Well,
say?
again, the issue was, is such. People needed to see it. They thought, and I thought, obviously, as producer of it.
Do we still need to see it today, do you think?
Again, if you are debating whether the issue is there for you or not, I think things like this should be seen. People should really see what does happen when you do this.
Okay, let's take a look, and a caution to our viewers, very graphic in nature as we take a look at this.
We'll be examining you now, just as we did before in the office. And that will be anesthetizing your cervix now. You'll feel a little needle stick now. And on the other side, the same thing. That's fine. You're doing very well. All right. You'll feel a real sharp pinch now as we grab hold of your cervix. That's fine. Now we'll be dilating your cervix. You'll feel a little bit of cramping discomfort now. That's fine.
Yeah, pretty graphic in nature, and in this day and age, obviously, we're still debating that. And I want to ask you, Colin, the Dougherty report, we're not seeing any programs like that locally anymore. We're not seeing like an AM Fresno Live or a Dougherty report or any of those types of programs, investigative type reporting. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, it costs money, for one thing. When you do this type of special, somebody has to really be turned loose on it, find out all the materials, and of course you have to have a photographer, an editor, and so on and so forth. And you will get a program like this, and a station may air it 2 or 3 times within a given week or 2 weeks or something.
Are we
like that.
missing something by not having programs like this?
Yes, I think so, because news is really boiled down to 60 and 90-second blips of the most informative information that we need in our community. They're all designed to last maybe 2 minutes if you're lucky, and you can't talk about these issues in 60 seconds or 90 seconds or whatever. It's a matter of hors d'oeuvre news. My background's news, obviously, and it's a shame that that we have really brought it down to sound bites. You get a sound bite from somebody, and they will say 2 words, and why put them up in the first place if you're going to get just 2 words out of them?
Who are we to blame for that? Not the news people, right?
Well, it is. The
Really?
news is based on ratings, and ratings are taken every 30 seconds, it seems like, and analyzing the viewer is always there. Well, you can't bore them. You can't. You got to keep things moving and popping. And but again, if people want the news, they really have to look at more places than the local news or even the national news. You need to see a news magazine. You need to read a newspaper, a news magazine, whatever it may be, whether it's in print or whether it's in video.
Nobody reads the newspaper anymore.
Well, that's true. It's going by the wayside. But you can still read off of your your screen, and if you want to be informed, you have to do that. If not, you will get trivial news. It's like election commercials. I mean, what do you find out from that?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's the way it is.
We got to take another break. We're talking with Colin Dougherty, the one and only here in Fresno. And, the phone line is open. I know many of you probably watching the inauguration right now. 265-4331. If you want to jump in here before the end of the show, we've got about 6, 7, 8 minutes left. We're back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready, steam-equipped, high-efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And you might remember Colin Dougherty from Channel 47, but he also started Channel 18, what we now know as public broadcasting, of course. It still is Channel 18. He was there 27 years. Colin, you also hosted a show called Law Quiz, and very similar to this show, Connect With Me, where you actually interviewed a panel of people. You had a phone bank, you took calls, you interviewed attorneys. Interesting program.
Law and medicine are 2 hot topics. People like to find out about law and medicine, and so we worked with the Fresno Young Lawyers Association at that time, and I would bring on a panel of judges and attorneys, and we'd pick a subject and talk about that. But the phone lines were open to a panel of about 10 or 12 attorneys. You could ask any question that you wanted to about the law. And so we did that every quarter, and we did it for 14 years. And it was
a lot of response?
Yes, a lot of response. I mean, we went in a 60-minute program, we would have something like 120, 150 calls. And people would get, again, it's superficial legal advice, because how can you discuss a lot of things?
Speaking of phone calls, we got one right now.
Okay.
Let's take one. Good morning, you're on Connect With Me. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Good. What's your question?
Is it John Malos?
Yeah, it is. What's your question for Colin?
Oh, yeah. No, well, I was just calling because about the station. They don't show it. They don't show the headline of it no more. I just happened to find it on there. I thought it was off the program Connect With Me, because they have something else on the headlines on. Well, I'm on with Comcast, and it shows. Let me see. 1 second.
Okay. Well,
yeah, it shows Perry Mason. Perry Mason right now.
Yeah. It's a problem on Comcast. You'll have to call the store and talk to us about that later. But right now, today, we're talking to Colin Dougherty. You might remember him from Channel 47, Channel 18.
Yeah,
so, Colin, let's take a look at a piece of videotape, a show called Law Quiz. I'm sure you got phone calls like this on Law Quiz many times, right? Many times. Had nothing to do with the show. They just wanted to call in and say, hello, how are you?
That's good.
Our panel
regardless,
of
I don't care what you
from
call
the Fresno County Young Lawyers Association will be answering your calls. So pick up that phone right now. Give them a call at 441-1818. And again, they'll answer any legal question that you might have this evening. But again, we're going to be talking about Social Security, wills, and Medicare, Medi-Cal, and other related subjects. Good evening and welcome to Timeline.
Hello, thank you.
We have got 3 interesting topics. And again, I mentioned the fact that once you reach 40 or over 40, which I am, and the 3 of you are not, you'll see that this becomes a more interesting subject to you as you get older.
All right, don't call that number. Our number is 265-4331. What year was that?
That was about, let's see, 70, started 77, 79 possibly.
You could tell just by the coats and ties. The set, you know.
And it's Justice Bert Levy was on the phone panel walking in the front, and of course he is Justice of the Court of Appeals right now. But he was chairman of the Young Lawyers Association at that time, assisting us with that particular program.
All right. We have a call, another one. Let's hope it's a little more than just a hello. Good morning. You're on Connect with me. How are you today?
Pretty good, John.
Hello?
To Colin.
You on the air?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Can't hear him.
You can't hear me?
We're scaring them away.
Yeah, we are. Hi, how are you?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. To Colin, the question is, what motivates you, Colin, to do some of this? And using abortion issue as an example, is it because, I'll give you some thoughts or ideal. Is it your spiritual nature? Your background, your wife tells you to do this, or what? What is the reason behind some of the issues, the news that you look into?
Thank you
that motivates you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a news background. I'm curious. I want to find out more about it. I mean, that's what makes, an old fire horse run. You hear the bell and you run on it.
Is that what makes a good news person, just curiosity?
Yes, I think so. I mean, all these subjects, you look at it and you say, we got to find out more about that.
Colin, you remember a fictional character on television? Remember the show Carl Kolchak? Remember that? Darren McGavin played a reporter for the INS News. He was always curious about something. He would always get in trouble with his boss.
Right.
Is that what it takes?
Well, I think so. That's what charged me. I was curious. You look at it, well, can I do this? Can I do that? I mean, I went up into the mountains at one time to do avalanche looking for people who had, this was practice, not an actual avalanche. But again, you go up there and you trudge through the snow and you got the cameras and the whole thing. It's curiosity. I mean, it's that whole thing of, I'd like to find out more about it.
And are we a little nosy too?
Yeah, if you don't have that.
I mean, for the lack of a better term,
I guess if you don't have that, you shouldn't be in the news business, and you stick your nose into things that some people think you should not stick your nose into. But then again, that's the idea. We get to do things as news people that the citizen never gets to do.
I'm wondering if my daughter should go into the news business, because she's a little bit that way. Oh, she's
curious.
Very much that way. I think she could be a gossip columnist, maybe. But anyway, I'm just joking.
We get to talk to people, and we get to do things. I mean, I've been up in jets at Lemoore Naval Air Station and taken flights. I mean, I've talked to presidents, et cetera, that you would never get close to. I mean, it goes on and on and on, and part of it is the fact that you are aggressive enough to go knock on that door and ask.
Quickly, we're almost out of time here. We got about a minute or two left. You work at Channel 49. KNXT is a religious station. Are you a religious person? Do you believe in a higher being?
Oh, absolutely, I believe in a higher being. I don't think I'm a religious person in that sense, because I work there I walk around saying the rosary all day, etc. I don't.
Right.
But I do believe in a God, and I do believe that we go to a better place after we leave this earth, and so forth.
Will you be on your hands and knees praying for the 49ers in 2 weeks?
I did that yesterday. And besides wearing the scarf and the hat and so forth, yes, I will be there. I will be praying for them before and after. And at the staff meetings, we say a prayer for the 49ers before we start the staff meetings this week. So we'll be doing that.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, Colin Kaepernick he's amazing.
Yes. Well,
Colin Dougherty, Colin Kaepernick.
There
you go.
He's
there you go. That's
you
right.
don't find too many Collins.
No,
there has in the
don't.
last few years, Collins have between movie stars and some athletes.
So you're a Kaepernick guy. You're not a Smith guy.
No, I'm. When you connect with a Colin, you have to stay there.
All right, okay. Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh? It's going to be Jim. Jim.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Colin, I learned a lot from you today. I appreciate it. Very nice meeting you and seeing you. And come back again.
I will do that.
All right. Tomorrow is another day here on Connect with Me. Thank you for your phone calls and your interest, and thank you to Colin Dougherty. Have a great day, a great evening. We'll see you back here on Me TV Fresno tomorrow.